Carrie Mitchell, in many ways, this debate feels as old as prostitution itself, but you've been campaigning for decriminalisation for years. Why?
Well, first of all, for women's safety. Criminalisation, whether that's of clients or women, and it's already criminalised in the US. Clients are criminalised in the US, and it hasn't decreased prostitution or made anybody safer. But first of all, any form of criminalisation drives sex workers underground and therefore into much more danger.
And for women working, do you feel that they don't have protection that other workers have at the moment?
Yes, there can be saturation policing, but no protection for sex workers. And recently a woman was murdered in London while the police were going after sex workers and clients, and it meant that women were driven out of the main area where they were working, where they were known, into side streets and cleaned off the streets, and as a result, a woman was murdered. The women were saying that they were more scared of the police than they were of the clients.
Bridget Perrier, you know that argument well, you know how it goes. In a sense, to decriminalise is to make prostitution a job like any other, to give women workers rights that we all have in every other job.
Well, I believe that healthy, balanced women don't go into prostitution. I think that prostitution is male privilege. And I think that our daughters and our young little girls need role models to look up to. I entered into prostitution, not sex work, because I wouldn't call what I went into a job. It was abuse. At a very young age, 12 years old. And in Canada, we see girls as young as 10 years old in the First Nations community that are being engulfed in prostitution. There's nothing that will protect you, whether it's legalized or decriminalized, from the person who's harming you. If that was there, why are we in a big influx of murdered and missing Indigenous women?
That is a good argument, isn't it?
The fact is that women do go into prostitution because of poverty and lack of choices, including young people, and it's terrible. It's absolutely shocking. And at the same time that this government is introducing benefit sanctions, welfare cuts, cutting money left, right and centre, and everybody knows that it's women and children who are suffering first. And organisations like yours do not speak out against those, and that's what has to be done, and these cuts have to stop so that women and children...
At the same time, part of your argument is that women choose to go into prostitution, and it should be treated as a job like any other, isn't it?
Well, women, women are working in very many jobs where, we might not want to be in that job, but we have to, we have to get food on the table for our children. That's women's priority. Most sex workers are mothers, mainly single mothers. In this country, we estimate around 70%, but around the world, very, very, very many more, where there's no welfare, and women all over the world, in Africa, in India, in Asia, in South America, are campaigning for decriminalisation of prostitution so that women can be safer. And it's already come in New Zealand, as you well know, and there is good evidence there that it's meant that women can come forward and report attacks to the police without fear of arrest, and that's extremely important.
And the influx of child prostitution is rampant in New Zealand.
No, that is a lie. I'm very sorry, that is
with the
not
Maori
true.
people, it's slave labor. What I see is when people say, I made that choice to enter into prostitution, you don't make that choice. Prostitution chooses you based on race, heredity.
I'm sorry, you're making a moral... You're just having a moral argument.
It's not moral because I've lived it. I've lived it.
And it's not acceptable.
Would you accept Carrie's argument that some women do choose, now, for economic reasons, to go into prostitution? We've spoken to women who are happy, or appear to be happy, to be prostitutes, and that they need some structure, they need some laws to protect them.
The 400 women that I've counselled in the work that I do, 98% say they want it out. So why is 2% speaking for the 98%? Little girls don't inspire into servicing multitudes of different men.
The amnesty proposal is quite clear that it is not, that child trafficking should still be illegal, but this is about a very clear definition.
This is about the John's privilege, the punter's privilege of being able to buy women, and the pimps being able to sell women. I've never met a nice pimp. You know, I was under pimp control for 10 years of my life, and it's not the laws that are killing our women, it's the men that are
Very briefly, do you think decriminalisation would actually have helped a woman like Bridget?
Absolutely, absolutely, because it makes a distinction between prostitution and any kind of force or coercion, and it means that people and that women feel, that's what the New Zealand women said, they felt they had the right to come forward and demand the same protection from the authorities that any woman can expect.
Carrie Mitchell.